What 100% fact is the hardest to believe? 1. You know when you get up too fast and feel dizzy? Squeezing your butt cheeks together stops the dizziness. 2. We landed on the moon before someone thought to add wheels to suitcases. 3. All of the Botox in the entire world, down to the last gram, is produced in a single factory in Westport, Ireland. 4. There are more castles in Germany than there are McDonald's in the United States. 5. The Sahara Desert used to be under the ocean. You can still find seashells in the sand there. 6. If you put every animal on Earth in a bag and then picked one out randomly, you would have a 1 out of 5 chance in picking a beetle. 7. There are more trees on Earth than stars in the Milky Way, roughly by a factor of 10. 8. Clouds weigh hundreds of thousands of pounds full of water and effortlessly float above our heads with no support, no structure, just weight floating around above us. And we're like, yep, totally believable because they're clouds. 9. Lightning bolts can reach temperatures 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. 10. If you laid out all of your arteries, veins, and capillaries, they would measure more than 60,000 miles long. 11. A man named Michael Lotito ate an entire airplane. It took him only 2 years. What are some very comforting facts? 1. It's highly likely your pet dreams of you in their sleep. However, mine is always humping me, so yeah. 2. A study shows that Jupiter has been protecting us from meteors for millions of years. 3. If you make it to the airport without dying, you've already passed the deadliest part of plane travel. 4. Bees take naps in flowers. 5. The voice actors of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse got married in real life. 6. Pillow fighting is a real recognized sport in Canada. 7. Spiders can't fly. Let's all take a moment and appreciate this fact. 8. If only 1% of the world population liked you, that would still mean 70 million people likes you. 9. When you were born, you were once the youngest person in the world. 10. Almost everything on the internet stays, meaning hundreds of years in the future we can look back on tweets from old celebrities and world leaders. Just imagine if we had social media 500 years ago, we could just look back history happening. 11. There is another person in the world whose heartbeat is synced with yours right now. What's an unfun fact? 1. Whales don't pass of old age. Eventually, they just don't have the strength to resurface and slowly drown. 2. There are at least 8 nuclear weapons known to be missing. 3. Every unborn baby grows a mustache in the womb, which then spreads to cover their entire body. 4. Tapeworms can grow up to 32 feet inside of you, and they will eat half of what you eat. People used to consume them on purpose in order to lose weight. 5. There are more slaves today than any time in history. 6. Only 1 in every 1,000 sea turtles born ever make it to adulthood. 7. There is a whale called 52 Blue that only sings at that frequency, meaning it can't communicate with other whales. It is nicknamed the loneliest whale on the planet. 8. In 2014, the CDC once found a smallpox sample that they had lost and didn't even know about. It was just laying around in some random storage room. 9. Anyone can have a brain aneurysm at any age, no matter your health situation. 10. A human tooth has 36 calories. What false fact did you believe in for way too long? 1. I thought milk was cow pee until I was like 8. It just made sense to me and I never questioned it. 2. I always thought swallowing bubblegum will make it remain forever in your stomach. 3. I thought that when blind people put on sunglasses, they could see. 4. I had no clue that pickles and cucumbers were the same thing. 5. That cracking your knuckles is bad for you and causes arthritis. A doctor cracked his knuckles only on one hand and not the other. For decades, both hands were the same. 6. My grandfather loved dark chocolate. He always told my dad that dark chocolate is poisonous to children, so he wouldn't take any. The problem is he never corrected him, so when my dad was 23 and at a friend's house, their toddler got hold of some dark chocolate. My dad leaping from the couch shouting no and slapping the chocolate out of the toddler's hand. 7. My parents told that a ice cream truck only played music when it was out of ice cream. 8. Banana nut muffins were made from a banana nut. It's just a type of nut called a banana nut. 9. When I was learning to drive, my dad told me that if you go over 75, the tears can overheat and explode. I believed that for way longer than I would like to admit. What's a fun fact that no one asked for? 1. Dragonflies suck water up their butts and shoot it out like jets when they get tired. 2. Donald Duck's middle name is Fauntleroy. 3. Playing a B flat on a tuba can cause arousal in alligators. 4. A baby could swim in a blue whale's veins. That's how huge it is. 5. Dr. Seuss invented the word nerd. 6. Elephants can purr like cats can. 7. Michael Jackson owned the original pair of scissor hands from the movie Edward Scissorhands. 8. Netflix has trouble recommending you titles after viewing Napoleon Dynamite. 9. Before Abraham Lincoln became president, he was an elite wrestling champion. In 300 matches, he only lost 1. 10. Fire smells different depending on how far from the flame your face is. 11. A cockroach can live up to 168 hours without its head. 12. Your immune system doesn't know your eyes exist. They have their own immune system. If your body's immune system ever learned about your eyes, it would view them as a foreign invader, and your white blood cells would melt them straight out of your sockets. What is a really weird fact that makes people say, "Why do you know that?" 1. A bee sting to the wiener can enlarge it permanently. 2. If provided with a mirror, dolphins will admire their own genitals. 3. If you spill bleach on your skin, the slippery feeling you feel when you wash it off is because you have basically made soap by dissolving the top layer of your skin. 4. Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire at the exact median day of his life. He had a literal midlife crisis. 5. Suicide bombers can be easily identified after blowing themselves up, since the pressure from the explosion fractures the neck and sends the head flying away to safety from the explosion. 6. Being skinned alive doesn't kill nearly as quickly as you think. When done carefully, the victim may not die of blood loss or shock, but rather hypothermia. Some account record that people have survived for several days. 7. If an aircraft is too big that you can't cover it with your thumb with your arm stretched out, then it's close enough you can shoot it down with rifle fire. 8. If a chicken eats the yolk in a chicken egg, it becomes addicted to it. 9. Brain surgery is done while you are awake and is only possible as the brain itself does not have any painkillers. 10. Human meat is often reported to be very similar to pork. What is a fact about the human body that not many people know about? 1. The reason it's so easy to break your collarbone is because it's designed to break. 2. Our brains make up on average around 2% of our body weight, but consume 20% of our caloric intake. 3. Humans have on average just as many hairs on their body as chimpanzees. Human hair is just a lot shorter and finer. 4. Pregnant women have 50% extra blood. 5. Some people have an inner monologue, some don't. 6. If you squirt cold water into someone's ear with a syringe, their eyes will automatically turn to the side that you squirted the water. If you use warm water, their eyes will automatically turn to the other side. It's called the caloric reflex test. 7. 30% of bodily waste is excreted through your skin. 8. The surface area of the lungs is about the same size as a tennis court. 9. Your brain likes stimulation. If it doesn't get any, it will make some up. What are some not fun facts? 1. Bus seats are designed so that you cannot tell how dirty they really are. 2. Valentine's Day is a holiday with one of the highest suicide rates. 3. If you are an identical twin, it is possible that you and your siblings' identities were swapped and your parents never caught it. 4. Your skeleton is wet. 5. Horses can't throw up. So if they eat something bad or get a bad gas bubble, they just lay down and die. 6. People who commit suicide by jumping off a bridge, those who don't die from the impact, drown because the impact breaks enough bones that prevents them from swimming. 7. If you eat a polar bear liver, you will die. Humans can't handle that much vitamin A. 8. When you get a sunburn, it's actually your cells dying so they don't get tumorous. 9. Urine was used for teeth whitening and bleaching of clothes in ancient Rome. Yes, they rinsed their mouth with human and animal urine. What are some very creepy facts? 1. Dead bodies moan and grunt when you move them. I was a paramedic and firefighter for 21 years. I was around a lot of dead people. 2. The last thing that stops when you die is your hearing. 3. The chainsaw was invented by 2 doctors to assist in childbirth. They were sawing through the mother's stomach to give the baby a chance of survival if the baby was too big. 4. Cannibals find the palm of the hand the tastiest. 5. A lot of farmers go missing yearly from pigs. They will eat just about anything. 6. The inside of a sea turtle's mouth looks like something straight out of a horror movie. absolutely covered in spines. 7. That there is literally nowhere in your house that you can store your toothbrush without it getting fecal matter on it. 8. Some plants can actually communicate with each other. 9. If the sun exploded right now, you would be blissfully unaware of it for just over 8 minutes while the energy travels at the speed of light to get to you. What are some wholesome facts? 1. The voices of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse got married in real life. 2. There's a species of bees that sleeps in flowers called globe mallows. 2 were photographed cuddling, sleeping together as the surrounding flowers were occupied. 3. Penguins spend a lot of time looking for a pebble to give to another penguin to propose. 4. Dogs will modify their play with puppies to let the puppy win. 5. The Netherlands sends Canada 20,000 tulip bulbs every year to thank them for their help during World War II. 6. In Germany, they have these frog fences. These fences keep the frogs from crossing the roads and getting run over. 7. When your cat narrows their eyes at you, it's their way of letting you know they care about you and are happy to see you. 8. In 1943, during World War II, on Christmas Eve, German and British soldiers started playing multiple soccer games against each other on no man's land. This just shows that soldiers are people and not extensions of their country's ideology. What is the weirdest fact you know? 1. Apparently, the way children start to hate their parents in puberty is an evolutionary way to prevent anything weird happening between you and them. 2. People can smell rain 4 times stronger than sharks can smell blood. 3. Your dog looks into your eyes and soul when taking a shit because it's looking up to you for protection in its most vulnerable moment. 4. Elephants can't jump. They're the only mammal that can't. 5. Booby trap backwards is party boob. 6. In Germany, you can get sentenced to up to 10 years in prison for causing a nuclear explosion. 7. KFC follows 11 people on Twitter, the 5 former Spice Girls and 6 guys named Herb. 8. There's a higher chance of you dying in a gender reveal party than getting attacked by a shark. 9. The CIA spent nearly 5 years and $10 million to make a covert spy cat with implanted microphones to eavesdrop on the Soviets. It was run over and killed by a car on its first mission. 10. There are more ways to shuffle a deck of cards than there are atoms on Earth. What's a let that sink in fun fact? 1. The overall goal in golf is to play less golf. 2. The man who invented the frisbee was cremated and turned into a frisbee. 3. If you choose not to have children, you are the first person in your direct ancestry all the way back to the first humans related to you to not have children. 4. The United States hasn't minted any new Purple Heart medals since World War II. We've been using the stockpile that was prepared in anticipation of a ground invasion of Japan. 5. The cigarette lighter was actually invented before the match. 6. Pineapples take 2 years to grow. 7. When humans started farming, blue eyes in humans hadn't evolved yet. 8. About 40% of the world's food is wasted, and a lot of that is before it even hits the shelves. 9. Dozens of Americans die every day from slipping in the shower and hitting their heads. 10. We can't prove we aren't in a simulation. 11. After hitting the iceberg, it took 2 hours and 40 minutes for the Titanic to fully submerge underwater. Let that sink in. What's a really scary fact that people should know about? 1. Doctors used to perform surgery on infants without anesthesia because they thought babies couldn't feel pain. 2. Egyptian mummies wouldn't be so rare if the Victorian British hadn't eaten most of them. 3. Humans have the ability to sense if someone is watching them. So if you think you're being watched at night, then you probably are. 4. It takes the same force of ripping 7 pieces of paper at a time to rip someone's ear off. 5. In Pakistan, 60% of murders are unsolved. They simply don't have the technology and training of the police officers in the West. 6. There's 21 to 46 million slaves living right now. 7. One AI-generated image uses the power equivalent of charging your cell phone from 0 to 100%. AI is a huge threat to climate change, but people are too excited about it to realize the damage. 8. Snails have thousands of teeth. 9. If a person gets bitten by an animal who has rabies, he will continue to live on a normal life for 12 weeks. And after the symptoms develop, there is no way he's making out alive. What's a cool fact you think others should know? 1. Australia is wider than the moon. 2. When a person receives a kidney transplant, they don't take out the old kidneys. They just shove them to the side and leave them in there. 3. Sharks existed before trees existed. 4. Butterflies and moths can drink blood and tears in order to get nutrients. It's called mud puddling. 5. Cows can see almost 360 degrees. 6. Dogs that are slightly underweight live an average of 2 years longer than dogs that are slightly overweight. 7. 90% of the population on Earth lives in the northern hemisphere. 8. Your eyeballs have a separate enclosed immune system than the rest of your body. If somehow the two become aware of each other, your body will think your eyes are invaders and literally attack and dissolve them. 9. The shell is part of the turtle's skeleton. 10. There was a time on the Earth where there were, at least, 4 different human species at the same time: Homo sapiens, Homo neanderthalensis, Homo denisova, and Homo floresiensis. What's a very disturbing fact almost nobody knows? 1. People unknowingly escape death approximately 6 times throughout their life. 2. Many doctors say that the most common last words they hear are, "I don't feel so good." 3. Most laugh tracks you hear in TV shows were recorded in the 1950s, meaning that the people you hear laughing are probably dead. 4. You are more likely to be bitten by a New Yorker than die from a shark. 5. Chucky is based on a real-life doll named Robert. The doll is said to be haunted, aware of what is going on around him, and even responsible for multiple violent mishaps. 6. In 1963, the Bronx Zoo had an exhibit called "The Most Dangerous Animal in the World." It was a mirror. 7. It is said that we cannot create new faces in our dreams. The faces that you see are people that you have seen before and do not know. 8. The reason that planes shut off their lights right before they land is so that passengers' eyes can adjust to the dark just in case there's a crash. This is so if the power goes out during the crash landing, they can better find an escape route.